Hi, I'm Danielle. I do too much. I like hair, talking, cosplay, music, art, and stuff. Hello and welcome to StarPuppy. I'm Danielle, your resident weirdo. Welcome to the weirdness. And welcome to the first official episode of the StarPuppy podcast. Tuesday Talks with StarPuppy working title. Actually, I think you guys should help me name this podcast because I'm not sure if I'm in love with Tuesday Talks. I like the idea of StarPuppy podcast and then like a subtitle. If y'all want, please go to my Instagram. I don't know why you wouldn't be following me on Instagram if you're not already, but go to my Instagram, go to my stories, and please vote and DM me. I will be checking my DMs for maybe the first time ever, just to see what you guys think. And feel free to comment below as well. But Instagram DMs and responses to my story will be taking precedence on this one. But you can do both. I know it took a really long time. I don't think you guys know this, but I moved during these challenging times, what I refer to as a worldwide timeout. And it was crazy. Would you guys like an episode centered around that? We're both trying to figure out what this format is going to look like. So now's really the time for you to give me some feedback because I'm most open to it right now. So I actually ended up moving during worldwide timeout, and it's taking me a while to get any semblance of rhythm, remembering that I'm a human being and time is relative. Oh, hold for siren. Also, the layout of my new place has me right next to a highway in my office. So this is going to be so interesting from an audio standpoint. Love that for me. In any case, let's get right into it. As you see by the title, this episode is a Q&A. Thank you so much for everyone who sent their questions and stories to starpuppypodcast@gmail.com. I don't think I'll be able to get through all of these, but I definitely think we can try. So I'm actually going to go chronologically because I really appreciate you guys who especially were some of the first few. I appreciate everybody who submitted anything. Let's see what we got. Kai Mobley, who is always commenting and being supportive of the channel. First of all, Kai, I see you all the time in the comments and I really appreciate you. So thank you so much for your support, and let's see what you have asked me. Would you rather have a Pokemon team of your choice or a single Digimon companion destined for you and your overall being? Don't have to think about it. One Digimon for me, please. You can't see. If you're watching the visual podcast, you see me pointing, but if you're watching or if you're listening to the audio podcast, I'm pointing to my Digimon box set. And I love it. Beyond the 4th season, we don't associate with her. Low-key, I'm still waiting to pick up a special rock and have my fire powers ignited, you know what I mean? Waiting to accidentally fall into a river and be transported to feudal Japan. Still waiting, still open to it. I'm wiser and older and my credits in line, so I think now is an even better time for me to go on my adventure. Anybody who's listening and who's holding out on my water or fire powers, just saying. Let's see. Would you learn Kenya or Sindarin language with me since you want to be an elf? Honestly, I don't really have the time for fictional languages. I'm really trying to up my Spanish game right now. I already am an elf, so I don't really need anything to prove that. If I challenge you to a Yu-Gi-Oh duel, would you be down? I don't know, man. I've really got my life in a place that I'm I'm happy, and even the slightest chance of being sent to the shadow realm is like kind of not worth it to me at this point in my life. You know, I've been surviving my 20s pretty good, and finally got some sense of balance. So, as much as it is always and forever will be time to duel, it's not for me right now in this place where I am right now, you know? But when I was 16, absolutely. What's my fave craving snack? You know, I go through periods where I just get obsessed with a certain snack. So I don't have a favorite, but my favorites of the past, like my phases, my snack phases, have included dehydrated jackfruit, Pocky, of course. I survived in an entire con on nothing but Pocky and the manga mania. Being surrounded by manga for the first time as an American, that kept me up all night. So, that and the Pocky. And my latest favorite snack is soy eggs because in high school and college and post grad, you know, you just go over to your friends' houses, and I have a lot of first generation American friends, and their parents are immigrants. So I be eating down because everybody's food is so good. And soy eggs and beef eggs, I was introduced to in high school and college and post grad. And I just got a hankering for them like a couple weeks ago. So I got a recipe offline. I kind of tweaked it because I don't eat sugar like that. So I ate it with honey. And wow, it was so good. And I think after this, I'm going to make some more. Yeah. Let's see. Do you play MMOs, and do you normally pick the elf race? I'm more of a scout ranger man myself. Gotta respect bowmanship. My dad is an ex-archery teacher, so I too am about that bow life. And I don't play MMOs because I only have Mac devices, and that seems like more of a PC thing. And I already have expensive hobbies. Thank God one of them turned out to be a job, which is this. Uh, but if I were to play an MMO, I would probably play WoW because the character selection is so good. And yes, I am elf all the time. I'd probably be a dark elf because blood elves remind me too much of mean girls from grade school. So it is what it is. It is what it is. How about choosing your choice of music for your vids? The way they sound reminds me of simpler times before all the nonsense. Tell me about it, Kai. I use sites that have only royalty-free music. I used to use the songs of Tampa Beats, but Tampa is gaining a lot of steam, and I still don't understand copyright. So I only use royalty-free music. When I was using Tampa Beats, nothing like happened or anything. But when I was using Tampa Beats, I reached out to them directly, and they were so sweet. And they were like, "Yeah, of course, use my music." I was like, "Oh, you're so cool." But now I just don't want to risk it. But I still have the entire album, and I listen to it religiously because it's so soothing. And they sample Samurai Champloo and let's see, Nujabes and Fat John. So yeah, I still rock with it. I'll put a little picture here because I don't remember what it's called. And for the audio listeners, check out my visual podcast to find out. Are you keeping up with your art? Yeah. I mean, the audio podcast listeners, you can't see. But if you're watching this, check out my shirt that I have on. I designed this shirt. This shirt wasn't like this, it didn't come with these colors. This is from some very painstaking color swatches and color studies that I did physically. And actually in this pocket is a design And on the pocket it says "No Bad Hair Days," and within it is an illustration that I drew myself. So I've used YouTube as a catalyst to keep up with my art, because as an adult I struggle justifying creating art. When I was like a kid, I would do it just to express myself. But one of the hardest things about being an adult is this need to be productive all the time and to justify things that you once just took pleasure in and just did to do. But now I use the fact that I am making something that you guys can enjoy and help support the channel with. And if you're interested in this shirt, I'll link it below, because I've gotten a lot of compliments in the grocery store, which is the only place I've been in the last 3 months, on my rad shirt. So yeah, that's the latest thing I've drawn. Oh, for my audio listeners, if you're interested in the visual podcast, it is at youtube.com/the StarPuppy, or just go to YouTube and put in StarPuppy, and come and hang out with us. And last question, how diverse are you in your art? I know you paint, but what are other art forms you enjoy doing? I do paint, but painting is actually the least of my artistic expressions when it comes to visual art. For the most part, I'm a graphite gal. Yeah. Oh, and ink. And then after that, probably watercolor and pastel. But that's painting. Ooh, colored pencil as well. Yeah, that's the one. And thank you so much, Kai. So we're gonna move on to the next person, Callan. What a pretty name. Let's see. I'm so excited for the StarPuppy podcast. Thank you for waiting. I hope you're seeing this. Let's see. The question is, I'm not sure if I'm the first to ask, but I would love to hear about your skincare routine, which is obviously resulting in amazingness. Thank you so much. I actually, I'm not sure when exactly this is coming out, but I'm pretty sure it's coming out the Tuesday before my video revealing my skincare routine. So stay tuned on the channel, because I also have a flash sale on it. I've worked very hard and been very patient, just as patient as you guys, for a collaboration with this company. So please turn on post notifications, because I want you to get that hardcore, large discount, huge discount. So you can actually buy exactly what I'm up to, because I really believe in my skincare system. So thank you so much for your question. Let's move right along. Let's see. Colleen asks, Dear Sunwolf, oh my God, is that my alter ego? Because I'm StarPuppy by day, Sunwolf by podcast. When you first went natural, did you have friends or family members who were already natural? Do you now? I think my auntie was natural already, but I can't quite remember. We really bonded over natural hair products once I went natural, but I can't remember her hair before it was in an afro. Interesting. My sister has locks, which is like kind of a point of contention, which doesn't make any sense to me in the natural hair community. So she had that going on. My love and confidence that grew just alongside of Fluffnugget. Fluffnugget is my hair for anyone new. I think since I have like the heavy quotes on this, heavy quotes, you see me with the quotes, you hear me with the quotes, hardest hair to embrace. Like if Danielle can do it, then I can do it kind of moment. I think a lot of my friends feel the same way as a lot of you guys, my friends. Yeah, like if she can do it, I can do it. And I'm so proud, because it took a lot. Thank you so much, Colleen. I think your name is Kea, and you have a really awesome avatar. Oh my gosh, you're gorge. My question for you is actually more of a request, advice. My bestie and I are so keen to start our own podcast, and we really don't know the steps we should be taking or what platform to use. Do you have any recommendations? Girl, I'm learning just as much as you are. So, not yet. I will answer this maybe in a later podcast when I have a nice rhythm going. You see how long it took me to put up the first episode. You see. Aaliyah asks, have you used Emerge products from Target? I haven't been to Target in several months, which is a tragedy, a travesty, and a crime. So, no. Traveling and protective styles. Sierra asks, what places are you interested to traveling next? A restaurant. Are you for anyone watching in the future when all this is over? This is during quarantine, and I've only been to grocery stores, and yeah, a restaurant would be real nice. Are you still going to do protective styles like passion twists and faux locks? So when the world opens back up, because this too will pass, and we will see each other again, we will have memories of traveling again, it will happen. When that does happen, I am very interested in returning to Europe. For those who didn't know, I actually brought in 2020 in Europe before the world exploded. My New Year's was in Barcelona, and it was rad, and I cling to those memories like a lost child. I'm a huge fan of the Italian sculptor Bernini. Actually, he is my favorite sculptor. And while we were in Italy, I did ask, and we were too far from a museum that had his work in it. Otherwise, I would have been there. I'd also like to go to South America because I have never been. And I mean, it's right there. I went to Japan and Europe before I went to the America that is South. It's right there. Why haven't I been there? Also, why haven't I been to the islands, like the Caribbean? Like, what? I'm just working backwards, apparently. That's what I'm into. I don't know. That is why I'm working on my Spanish, because I want to be able to communicate and I want to be able to understand. I'm a tourist that does a lot of research on the culture before I go to the country. Because I'm very aware of my reputation as an American, and especially as a Black American. People expect, not a lot from me, but they actively expect shenanigans and debauchery. And I, as a person who is very respectful of cultures, feel very offended when people judge me like that. But then I see what shenanigans Americans do get up to abroad, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to be like that, and I've never been like that, so there you go. Patricia asks, do you have any tips for becoming a natural hair influencer like yourself? The best thing I can come up with is like a very mom thing to say, but like our moms were right. Be yourself. The natural hair sphere is extremely dense. And I mean, looking back on how I've even made it this far and am continuing to grow, I think it's got a lot to do with personality more than anything. I also try to be very informative in my videos. I think it's a lot more about quality than quantity. And I think it's a lot more about being genuine and who you really are. I think a lot of YouTubers are putting on a certain face, and I am guilty of that in the past myself. But the more I let my true personality come out, the more people gravitated towards me. I think a lot of my success thus far has been because a lot of people see themselves in me and they feel less alone. And that's amazing. And that was the whole point. So, yay. But also, I also tend to attract people who are very different from me, too. And I thought, I've given that quite a bit of thought. And the best I can come up with is that people can smell authenticity. Yeah, I think that's got a lot to do with it. Because by the time I was doing like hair content and leaning into it, I was really committed to being myself and no one else. And that took a lot. But yeah. Also, you're going to need to develop some thick skin. It's going to be tough. It's going to be rough. And not everybody's nice, you know. I have a background in the arts and like visual and the performing arts. So I'm used to critique and I'm used to people not liking me for no reason. And that's it. So I already had like a beginner starter pack of tough skin. It's only continued to get stronger. But even I have my days, and sometimes people can be really, really, really cruel for no reason, and it can get under your skin, as tough as it might be. So, yeah, just be yourself, but don't fall into the trap of letting YouTube and other people be your source of validation. You're going to have to get very good at that very fast. Okay? Good luck. Do you like using all of the LOC method for your hair? I don't like oils on my hair. Would appreciate it if someone oiled my scalp though. Understood. So I've kind of skipped the oils myself, but like kind of not really. Let me explain. So I've swapped out the L, which used to be liquid, which used to be aloe vera juice, for a leave-in. I'm toggling between 3 leave-ins at the moment. And then I oil my scalp while the leave-in sinks into the hair shaft. And so a little bit of the oil always gets onto the shaft of the hair because oil spreads. So technically that's an O in the LOC. And then I use a whipped shea butter cream. If you've seen my probably latest video on Saturdays, it's the Shea Essentials whipped shea butter. It smells so good, and I've been kind of hooked on that lately. It really seals in the moisture. But if I'm doing a wash and go, I'll skip that step because I've been told it'll do some residue shenanigans, and I don't want to risk it because my wash and go literally takes me like 6 hours. So no, we won't be risking it. Queen, come through, Queen. Your name is Queen? I'm jealous. She asks, I noticed you don't get braids and stuff. Can you tell why? Of course, because I have a YouTube channel. That's it. Otherwise, you'd catch me in braids all the time. Before I started leaning into hair content on StarPuppy, my YouTube channel, you'd catch me in braids every year. I did faux locks every year during the winter for the last several years, and it has been a break for Fluffnugget and a break for me. And she flourished, I flourished. But because I have a natural hair channel, and I don't act right and film enough in advance to have braids in for the amount of time I want to have braids in, which is 2 straight months. If not 3, don't tell the natural hair community. So right now I'm exploring hair content that doesn't need my hair to be out, and seeing how it does on the channel. If you guys really want to see that kind of stuff, if it performs well, because I mean, I'm only here to really make things that I enjoy and you enjoy. So there's that. So if the hair content that doesn't involve my hair, if I find something that is very helpful and performs well and I believe in, then you're going to see me in some faux locks. You're going to catch me in some braids because I miss them so much. Professional alias, nice, has 2 questions. Any advice other than just do it for budding YouTubers on how to get past their anxiety and find their niche? No. That is the best advice. Anyone who has said that to you is telling the truth. There is no other way to do it than just to do it. Jump in head first. That's the only way to do it. My personal friend of several years, Aisha, who goes by your local your local black sheep on YouTube. She does playthroughs. We talked about this for a couple of years, and I kept badgering her. Not badgering, but if she would ask me something, I would always say, just do it, because when you are at the start of your channel, you actually have the most mobility. You can just try something and see if you feel okay with it. Because at the end of the day, you have to live with what you put out on the internet. So, that's the best advice. I'm not going to tell you something that isn't the best advice. And that might annoy you, but it's also the truth. And sometimes the truth is annoying. Joy asks, how did you start acting and modeling? My parents put me in extracurricular, like creative outlet things since I was a child, because I was painfully shy and quiet and was having trouble expressing myself. Can you imagine? I know, right? And I thank them as much as I can because that was the start of something very good. Thank you so much, Mom and Dad. I think, Julia, what you're asking is, do you have advice for perfectionist overachievers that can't love themselves because they think they'll never be good enough? You're looking at one, girl. Hey, your perfectionism is a trap, and will keep you from attempting to do something. You're going to have to fight that, and you're going to have to be okay with something not being perfect. I've put up videos that I have edited to death. I have put up videos that I threw on the internet because I needed it to be done and I knew it wasn't perfect and it wasn't necessarily up to my standards. And then those videos hit people in their souls, apparently. Please be kind to yourself. In the beginning, I've worked this muscle a lot more, so I can kind of navigate my perfectionism a lot easier than I used to be able to. The first things that I did was just giving myself a time limit, like an alarm, and I'm just going to put up whatever this is within reason. Come on, like you gotta have an outro and intro. You know, you can't have like just dead spaces in like a video or something. But I had a certain time limit for how long I'm able to edit something, and whatever it was, that's what's going up. You know, I think this is the best exercise I can give you: is treat whatever you're trying to do like it's not yours, but your best friend's. So, for instance, I don't know your trade or, you know, what your art is or your ministry or whatever you are after. So let's use visual art. Say you're a painter. So you are unsatisfied with this painting because it's yours. But what if this painting was your friend's? What if you walked into the room with fresh eyes and you looked at this oil painting? And even without the knowledge of how long your friend, your best friend, has been working on this painting, what is the first thing you would do? That's right. Look for all the beauty in everything that they have done. You are looking for the positive aspects, the positive traits, what you like about this painting, because your friend worked hard on it. And also, usually, it really is beautiful. I say this to say, why wouldn't you treat yourself like your own best friend? Do you see what I'm getting at here? We, as humans, and especially as perfectionists, are our own worst critics. And you got to fight that thing or you're not going to get anything done. So start with that and just keep working that muscle. Eventually, you will, I'm not sure if you will break that habit, but you will weaken that habit. And I still have to consciously do these things, but it has made my life so much easier. In fact, I've been working with an external editor, which in my high-level perfectionist days would not be an option. And I still struggle sometimes, but just being able to let someone else take the reins is a huge step for me and has made my life so much easier and better. So work on that, because, I mean, I bet lots of people around you believe in you. Why don't you? You know? You can do it, Julia. Mr. Proto Blues, hello, how are you? Thank you for complimenting my profile photo. I made it myself. Yeah, I can see that. And they are a digital freelance artist. Favorite cartoons? Digimon, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Revolutionary Girl Utena, My Hero Academia, Steven Universe, Death Note. And how do I resist the urge to flat iron my short 4C hair? What's wrong with flat ironing your natural 4C hair? I feel like you feel like that's a bad thing, but I don't. I feel like chemically straightening your hair if it's short is maybe not a good idea, because those chemicals would be very close to your head. But as far as just flat ironing it, why not? Just use a heat protectant and be okay with the possibility that you could damage your hair. Personally, I don't straighten my hair because I don't like how my hair looks straight. I think it looks strange on me. Even when I straightened my hair 2 years ago, I still ended up putting wave formers in it because I think I look good with textured hair. So I don't see the problem here. Just use a heat protectant and be careful. Yeah. Because it's your hair. Do what you want. Kai has sent some more questions. Aaliyah, Beyonce, or Lauryn Hill as your lifeline? I plead the fifth. I'm not sure I understand the question. What do you find challenging to do? I think there's supposed to be another two. What do you find challenging to do to maintain in your life? My sleep schedule. Yeah, for sure, my sleep schedule. Would you make another musical masterpiece for the holidays like you did for Christmas? Okay. So, for anyone who's new to the channel or for the audio listeners, I have this one video called, I forgot what it's called, but it's like a Christmas special where I clone myself 4 times. I've posted it twice. 2 Christmases ago when I actually made it, and then I reposted it this past Christmas, and I'm going to keep uploading it until it gets decent views. I worked so hard on that video. Every video on my channel was easier than that video. That is the video I've worked the hardest on, and I refuse to give up on it. I'm going to upload that dang video every year until it gets decent views. I think it got 8,000 views this past Christmas. I think it's the thumbnail. I'll try a different thumbnail next time. I'm telling you, I'm never going to give up on it. And no, I'm not making another one until that one does well. And those are the questions I will be answering. And so this has been the first official episode of the StarPuppy podcast, Tuesday Talks with StarPuppy, working title. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for watching. And I upload these on Tuesdays on all streaming platforms as far as audio, and on my YouTube channel, StarPuppy on YouTube. So I will see you next time. This has been me, Danielle, your resident weirdo. StarPuppy signing out. Say it with me now. StarPuppy. Away. I don't want to yell.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you enjoyed the video.